We're live, bro.
We are live.
I think we're live. We're supposed to be live. Hello,
We are
everybody. Welcome to the.
Ray-Ban?
Hi, everybody. Hi.
They can't see you,
There's no.
Yeah, they can't see
The camera's right there, Tony. If you.
but we're audio
They can't
first.
see the screen.
Oh man.
well,
this
there's
is-
a delay on that, but no, they couldn't
There's
see
no
that.
delay, Tony. No, I'm just kidding. I know there's definitely a delay. Anyway,
Now,
guys.
now wave.
How's that? We'll go ahead and wave.
Hey guys.
Hi. So, how's everybody doing? Doing good?
Good. Yep. Good.
Better
Good.
than your brother.
Yeah, but he's dead, actually.
Oh,
not
okay,
not
he
only
died.
in person, but to me as well. So.
Make that joke.
I'll tell you what, if it
Oh,
comes
that's
back and he's
true.
actually
Keep
dead,
making it. You keep
I'm going to
making
be
it.
One
There's
day-
gonna
real.
be one time where you're like,
I-
man, I shouldn't have made that joke.
Listen, one time when we were young.
There's some other jokes that he's made that he. Where's the? I hope you find your dad.
Yep.
That has bit me a couple times. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I
And
know
yet
that.
you still do it.
I
Well,
know.
because most people it's okay with, but like,
But you've learned your lesson.
no, clearly
You would
not. 'Cause
think.
they keep doing it. I
would
was
think.
burnt.
Hi,
Those
Joe.
who do not remember history.
So, no, anyway, but the story about Dakota, when we were younger, I had, like, he didn't drive yet, right? So he had to get a ride to work. And we're sitting at the
I
stopping
feel like we
line.
shouldn't talk about him without him here to defend himself.
No,
I wanna hear
this
it.
is a funny story.
Oh.
This isn't trash about Dakota.
Also, this is the best
We
time
can
to
get
talk
into
about
that
someone.
next, though. No,
Plenty of time.
right by the fire station, right? So when I was, you know where it's at, right by your house.
Yeah.
So Jake lives on the corner.
You mean his apartment?
Yeah, but it's in a house.
It's a
Anyway,
duplex.
at any rate, okay.
408
We were, when I was
No Street.
when I was younger than even this story, I got in an accident right there, and could have died. So we're sitting at that light, and I'm like, man, what if I would have died in that accident? He's like, somebody else would be taking me to work right now.
He's not wrong.
So I mean, we've got common ground on this.
All right.
Those
Death
jokes have
joke
been there for ages.
I mean, you got a brother. You know what it's like.
yeah. Yeah.
Your brother was adopted, though.
My
right?
brother is 8 years older than me.
So
So
you guys
Not
don't
really.
have any kind of.
You guys don't have anything in common at all,
no.
except for DNA.
How much older is your brother than you?
We have a lot. We have
5 years older.
We have
Yeah.
more in common
It was
than
a-
maybe meets the eye.
Maybe.
We're very different. Like,
You guys did come from the same parents, so
yeah,
Yeah, so you genetically have a lot
Yeah,
in common.
exactly.
yeah.
Prove
we,
it.
we
fair.
sound exactly
you
alike.
might be able to get a kidney from him.
Probably.
Yeah.
Might.
Might.
can't
There's a chance.
Brittany said that somebody here.
Am I the only
was
person
like
here
your
that doesn't have a
brother.
brother?
I can't remember.
You got brothers?
No.
You got two sisters though.
Yeah.
The Tony's
I do.
rule.
Dakota joined.
What?
Where are you?
Where are you?
So anyway, you said you wanted to bring something up here.
Oh yeah. So there's a petition. Have you ever seen the biggest petition going around that went viral?
Oh,
The
that's
Game of
right.
Thrones one.
No.
So how can a petition go viral?
I mean, there's petitions
They
that get
just
created
means they
all
don't have
the time.
antibiotics to kill it yet.
Okay.
So, anyways, there's a
Mathematically
petition
speaking,
going out to make
Not
Joe Rogan a moderator of a 2020 presidential debate.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And
So, so
said
President
that is
Trump,
one
have
of
you
the
ever tried
worst people They
DMT?
could get to moderate. that.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's
This is a bad idea.
There
You know,
may
I
be
re-
some bias there.
I really, yeah, I
not even
really
that.
enjoy that show. But there are Joe Rogan shows specifically. I like watching it. I watched the one with Bernie Sanders the other day.
I did too.
What'd you think of that? That's crazy.
I feel like it was a very softball.
That was my biggest problem with it.
Well,
Like,
they
I
usually
think,
are.
Yeah, I was about to say that's probably my biggest complaint about Joe Rogan. He's not. I guess it depends on why you're watching him, right? But like he
most importantly, you need to watch that for entertainment.
doesn't.
Like,
Yeah,
it-
exactly.
It,
He doesn't,
it is.
he
it-
doesn't usually take
Which
a very
Tony,
hard
Dakota?
stance on much.
no, and
I'm-
he doesn't
I'm-
push people very
on
hard.
the.
There's only one thing
But
I
one
think
of the
I've
things
seen
I
him take a hard
do
stance
like
on.
about Joe Rogan's podcast is it lets people hear who he has on.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
like, one of the biggest things they mention in
he
the
doesn't
podcast.
cut him off a lot.
One of the biggest things he mentions in the podcast is, or Bernie Sanders mentions, is that a debate's not really
Can we have it in the
a fair,
octagon?
like, a fair attribution. I can't think of the word.
No,
A fair way of, like, deciding who
That's what
has
they
the best
talked about.
ideas because you only got 45 seconds
or
to say
10
something.
seconds at some point.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
you don't. It's not really.
Although to be fair,
and
in
then
the
when there's
debate,
50
Bernie like just wouldn't answer questions. Like, I can't remember.
He also-
are you going to raise taxes for this?
He
He's like,
also-
we're going to scream and yell.
He also went
And
over.
yes,
his,
we'll raise
he
taxes.
also talked over his time quite often, but
I mean, they all do.
They
right?
all do.
I mean, you have to, right? If you
yeah,
want to get
exactly.
anything.
So, but the thing is, like, one thing I liked about his podcast is it allowed Bernie to essentially answer the same questions to the full extent of how he wanted to answer it. So if anyone was really wondering Bernie's outlook on certain issues,
And from watching
that
it, you can-
podcast, you will get more information than I think you would at a debate.
Right, from watching it, you can see that like he clearly doesn't have answers to some of the hard questions. I don't know. I really,
I think he says that. He's like, I'm not sure the best route to take, but this is my outlook. Like, he says that he's not sure on some issues.
yeah, but I mean, on other things, like he just kind of
Well, what he is
Said the
sure
wrong
on
answer.
politics. He politics on it, right? Like, oh, we're just going to tax Wall Street.
Yeah.
So like do you guys know that the income tax originally, like when they first pushed the income tax, they're like, now listen, we're at war right now, or there's a war going on, we got to pay for it, right? We got to help supply munitions to the Allies, so we're gonna have to tax everybody, but it's mostly on the top most wealthy people, right? And then it's over. Then we're done with the income tax. So here we are, over 105 years later, and there's still an income tax, and it's on everybody.
Not only is there an
Right.
income tax, but now there's a payroll tax. Too,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
which
the point is
insane.
like when these things are pushed, they're like, Jake, like we need to tax you, but most of it's gonna be levied on Tony. So just like you and I, as long as we vote for that, like it'll be fine. He can't outvote us. So and then I'll take care of you
I deserve
afterwards.
it.
That's fair.
I'm a better person than Jake.
That's fair. I don't know what that has to do with taxes, but sure.
I mean, he's got his own car, he's got a house, 2 dogs. I definitely got better assets than me, for sure.
I don't think dogs are really all that great of an asset.
No, they're a
like, I
liability.
imagine you love
Screw
them. but-
you.
They literally ruin assets.
Yeah,
that you
yeah. I
own.
was about
I
to
got a
say,
cat.
They don't ruin assets.
they're more of a liability than an asset.
I'm
I
saying
would
that
say.
cats
Jake's got
may be
cat
worse.
wounds everywhere.
They're all over
You know what the best
place.
part of having
3
a dog
weeks from now,
is?
he's gonna have
I'm
feline
not
AIDS.
allergic to dogs.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, like, you're displaying physical scars. The scars that the government give you most of the time are just emotional scars. You can't.
I would say they're mostly financial, but
Yeah, but that's emotionally on my heart.
So-
Now, you might have some government-based
Hey Tim, do you
scars.
sell pillows here?
That was a clever
Let me,
assessment.
okay, so me and Brad got in a big argument earlier.
Surprise!
I wanted to get your guys' outlook. Can you do something
God.
knowing that it's wrong, but be right on the concept of it? Like, you have the right perception of it, but you do it anyways.
you
You
ignore
acknowledge you doing it wrong.
Okay,
Okay.
I need you to.
There-
You've
there's a-
lost me.
I need,
Okay.
I need the example.
So,
you
okay,
guys
here's
are
the
debating.
example. Bernie Sanders wants to
He wants to eliminate everyone's
student debt and tax Wall Street, which could negatively affect the economy.
And Jake said,
and
I
he's
wa-
saying that is. Let me talk.
Okay.
He said that is wrong to negatively affect the economy for the next so many years. Just get my student loan erased. And I said, I know. I don't care.
I was saying it's wrong for a number of reasons. But
And then he said I was wrong. I was like, I know I'm doing something wrong, but that makes me, but I'm right. That
I'm
it
glad I
is
let
wrong.
you flesh that out because I was going to answer.
That's a very I mean,
It's stealing.
well, we should be worried. Well, let's not get into that portion of it because
No, I'm saying
that's
what
not
he-
the debate
that's not what we're
talking
talking about here.
No,
Whether
no,
that's
no.
the
I'm
right
not
or
talking.
wrong.
I'm not even
What he's
talking
saying
that. I'm
is,
talking
like-
what he's saying is like I don't care if you take it from somebody else.
No. What the argument actually is if you know it's wrong and you just do it anyways and not care.
Does he
Yeah,
still
I
have
don't-
the right outlook on politics? What I said, what my opinion was that no, you don't have the right outlook on politics is because you are doing the wrong thing.
You
That's
have
why.
well, you can't really say
But
the
just
wrong
be-
thing because that this gets back to the whole morality thing. You can't say the wrong thing.
Well,
Everybody's perspective
but,
is
but
different.
sure.
He's
We won't
thinking
go
about
down. We
things
won't.
on-
We won't
he's
go that. But my
thinking
point
on-
is, he views it as the wrong.
Can I
thing.
finish?
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
he's thinking on things on the individual. Mm-hmm. You're thinking on things on the society. So it's not necessarily one's right or wrong. So it's good for Jake. It's great for Jake. It may be bad for everybody
But
else.
but he admits that.
So-
But
and-
Jake
okay,
knows it's
so
wrong.
my-
So that's
yeah,
different.
Exactly.
My
exactly.
Yes.
My point was, he said I had the wrong outlook on politics, and I said no, I have the right outlook on politics because I know what the right thing to do would be. I'm just going to ignore that because I want $50,000 lifted off my shoulders.
Well, that seems to be morally wrong.
Oh, fair enough, but am I still
Maybe
is
not
my
wrong on politics.
Now, how much of that? Now, how much of that is choice? So, like, think about it like this, and like we're thinking in a very linear
He's back.
sense. We're thinking in a linear sense, right? Like, so you went to college and gathered student loan debt. What if you just never went to college, and that right there eliminates all of your student loan debt because you never did it.
Give
You
me a
know what I
time
mean?
machine. I'll gladly go back and not go to
that's what I'm saying,
college.
Like, but okay, but
I agree with you.
In what other
I'd like to have that money
situations
back.
do you get just a reset button?
And how many scenarios?
Yeah, so like let's say 10 years ago you ran somebody over and killed them.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing can nothing on your
I think
conscience.
it depends on
what's
how
your-
much financial
What are
backing
you
have.
getting at here? I don't
You get-
quite
What
know
I'm
where we're
saying
going.
is like
You get reset buttons if you got enough money.
that's fair, and that's another discussion. That's
That
a
was
whole-
last week's discussion.
But we can elaborate on that
think it
because
depends,
well,
but
with
maybe.
Jeffrey
What about
Epstein,
banks?
with the whole
And,
Jeffrey
you
Epstein
know?
thing, that's a very current and valid statement. But I'm talking like on, the idea of we're just going to reset your student loan debt, like.
Somebody's saying
degree
we
that I
shouldn't
don't-
be stuck on the morality crap for another week.
Who said
Is it
that?
Jason
Jason.
Probably Jason.
Yeah, Brad and I squashed that. We're good.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think the whole morality debate is very interesting.
I think it is,
because-
too.
I enjoy
enjoyed
it.
it a lot
I think
more.
it is,
I
too.
guess
If they
our-
did, that's kind of
Well,
a
to be
problem.
fair, I think
Jason did.
Eli's
I know
like,
Eli
this is the
did.
best episode in a while. And just like, this episode's
Yeah,
trash.
Eli loved that.
He literally said it was the worst episode we've ever had. It was the worst episode 37.
I
yet.
don't know. We wasted an hour on flat Earth once.
That's fair. That was
That-
the
that
worst.
was
Speaking of,
probably
Tyler,
No.
Tyler Ball came in here earlier and
Did he
started
really?
spin his propaganda out there. He's like, "Do you believe in gravity? Unbelievable."
Every time we get into it, man, I can't
So,
help but bring
Eli's
up.
making a good point here. Right?
What's that?
So education is very important, but is at this point is the financial burden truly worth the paycheck and getting a degree?
Well,
No.
So
Typically, no.
No,
I think
Almost
straight.
never.
I think
I think
objectively
I
it's
agree with
not.
Brad here. I think
Depends.
it
It
depends.
depends.
on
Well,
what
sure,
So
if
there
you wanna
are
be a doctor,
there
you
are a
wanna be a
lot.
doctor,
Well, not
you
even
have
just
no-
a doctor.
Not just a doctor,
There
but
are a
there's
lot
other
of
ones,
things
yeah.
that are beneficial to go to school for. I'm going to use an example everyone hears a lot. Lesbian dance theory is not one of them. Right.
Yeah.
I can be honest, I've never heard that one.
A degree in gender studies is not one of them. There's a lot of these really kind of fringe liberal arts degrees that people are going for. Any art degree is not one of them. So there's
I don't agree.
on a second.
I'm jumping back off the Brad train.
Okay, Joe.
Oh, here we go again.
Joe has a very insightful, long
Oh, wait, how do you spell that?
comment about the taxation plan.
Sum it up for me.
Okay,
Oh my
basically,
I'm not reading that whole thing.
he goes, it's wrong, but to progress people further, it might be good to give the $2.7 trillion in debt that students are in the bailout, essentially, so they can invest back into the economy. And he says that the fact that there's no taxation in stocks on Wall Street is kind of weird, and that the less than
I
a
don't think that that's true though.
less than a 1% taxation on trades for the next 10 years would equate to $2.7 trillion. That's what he's saying.
That's
Then
assuming
the
that it
very
doesn't.
okay.
That's assuming that it doesn't hurt trading.
True.
I was
Hold
about
on
to
a second.
say.
Hold on a second. Then the very next thing he says is flat Earth is the way.
Back
Any-
to back.
anyway. Yeah, that is assuming that tax changes absolutely nothing when it comes to Wall when
Which
it comes
we know
to
it
Wall
will.
Street.
We know it will. I mean, it's just-
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You're talking.
So-
You're talking an investment, but people will just invest in another way where you
Exactly.
don't have to pay
I
that.
agree. That,
Exactly.
like,
Now, I
if-
do agree with Joe to a certain degree that I think it can be good for the economy to do that under one condition. The federal government needs to stop handing out student loans. Flat, period.
Yeah. It
So
does.
it
I
would
agree
be
with that
good.
100%.
I've seen a
I
lot
would
of
agree.
studies.
Student
a lot
loans
of
are
studies
incredibly
that it would be-
predatory.
That it would be good for
What's
the
that?
economy.
Student
Now,
loans are incredibly predatory, and they
Oh,
really need to be
absolutely.
stopped.
even
Well,
with
and
that-
you can't default on
Right.
them. either.
No,
Like, you
exactly.
can never get out of them. You can.
No,
you can.
you're right.
You can
Declare
have
bankruptcy on
a
anything
person
else.
who has had the same job, albeit a low paying job for the last 10 years, and they can't get approved for a $200,000 mortgage, right?
Yeah.
But you can go. You can be 18
With
never
no
have
credit,
no
no
credit,
understanding
no work
of your
history,
credit.
and you can go get hundreds of thousands of
Yep.
dollars in
You're
student
right.
loans debt.
You're absolutely right.
No problem.
Because it's the government handing you. The
it's-
government's not looking to profit off.
It's ignorant.
What were you gonna say?
So, dialing it back quite a bit, like
That's
I
fine.
agree with what you were saying on, like, if you make a bad choice, you made that choice. When I was 18 getting out of school, I didn't go right to college because I didn't want to be covered in debt.
Right.
And now I am covered in debt, but that's still the choice that I made.
But you're also
Yeah.
working in the field that you pursue, or
so
close, right?
Regardless of whether I am or not, that's the choice I made.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Well, what I'm saying, like, I have a degree that I'm not in my field at all for
But
my
that's,
degree.
but that's your choice.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah,
but
and
but
I-
you're giving kids a loaded gun. Like they're not prepared. Like they don't
That's
they don't
making an
underst-
excuse.
I
They
think
don't
you're-
understand the
that's an
weight of
excuse.
that choice.
I agree.
So if
that's
I
fair, they
understood
don't understand it.
I understood the weight of that choice
A lot
without
of people
having
don't,
classes
though.
in it, but I'm saying
Yeah.
that's the fault of the education system.
I
not
agree with that.
100%.
I'm not saying
I
they should
agree.
be off the hook
100%
for it.
agree with that.
I
they're
agree with
in
you
the-
to a certain extent, Tony. Now, I don't
As
think
always.
kids should be going to school for an art degree. I don't think art history and stuff like that should be expunged from colleges either. I do think it is important in some way, but we shouldn't be funding kids to go to school in order, because what they're ultimately trying to do is get a well-paying job, and they're making an investment.
You're
on
making
that.
an assumption there. Not everybody is ultimately trying to go get a well-paying job.
No,
That's fair,
that's
but that
not
is
what
kind
I'm
of the
saying. But
pitch.
that's
That's kind
what
of the pitch
these
for
but that's what
college.
these kids are doing.
I
That's why
think-
these kids are going to school. Now
That's not
someone
necessarily
that's
true
not,
either.
That's not always the case.
Hey,
But
a kid
what-
going
I
to
think
a
what
theater
Brad's
job,
saying- what
a kid
Brad's
going
saying-
in for theater is not necessarily going to get a well-paying job after. They're trying to become an actor or a writer or
they're
designer.
but they're
No.
trying to get a job in
What-
their field of study.
And
That's
see
my point.
what the thing is, because you're arguing against like federal government handing out
Exactly.
loans. I think that their loans shouldn't cover that type of education.
I would agree with
disagree
that.
with that.
See,
I disagree
with
with
that
that.
completely.
But the government,
passionately
the
disagree
entire,
with
the
that.
entire reason that they want the public to go to school isn't to have a well-rounded community. It's to create workers, right? So to educate people to work
I think
in their
that's a very
fields.
single-minded.
But you want the
They-
government.
but
You
to
want
be
the
fair,
government.
they already do that
You
in
want the
public
government and the
schools.
society to decide that what jobs are marketable.
I
No,
don't.
no. Let me
I
let me
don't.
finish here. I'm
They
saying
can't make that choice.
I'm saying the government would want to pay for someone to go to medical school and become a doctor.
Yeah.
They would not want someone to pay to.
But
pay
that's not the
someone
government's
to get
choice.
What you're
No.
talking about is the government making basically an investment decision.
Yes,
And that's
And
wrong.
but the government
That- that's
can't.
wrong.
But that's
They
what they're
also
already
can't
doing.
do it.
That's the
there are
problem.
other avenues to get loans.
because they're okay. There are other avenues to get loans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's also nothing on the government saying you have to take this loan. It's not. They're not even the best choice. For
Oh,
you.
you're right.
So-
You're absolutely right.
And
Just
they're inherently
because-
bad at managing money. So if they're
Just
deciding
because
one investment
you
over another,
make
they
Also
the
true.
can't do
mistake
it.
or choice to do it does not mean it's somebody else's fault and it's predatory.
Well, I mean,
I do
that's
think
not,
that
that's
the-
not even
I
what
do
I'm
think
saying.
the way
I'm
that-
saying it's in their best interest to monitor what it is that
I
they are
don't agree
funding.
with that at all. The
But see,
government
I
should
don't
have no say in what I go to college. for.
Unless they're giving you money for it.
I don't
Yes.
agree with that.
That's the big problem.
Yeah.
Because that
I don't
is the
agree
big
with that.
problem.
Why?
Because
That
just
is their
be-
money.
Just because you're going to school to be an art major doesn't mean it make it any less important than if you're going to be a doctor.
Also, you're assuming that
I agree. The
you're
government
automatic-
can't make that
you're
decision.
auto-
Based
well,
on what
A,
though?
you're-
Obviously, their doctors
let
are
Jake-
more valuable
Oh,
than art majors.
You're
I
automatically.
disagree with you.
you
That's a
can't-
very
you can't
single-minded
quan-
view.
So
of it.
you're-
You can't say
You're
that.
also you're
Yeah.
automatically
based on dollar value,
Okay,
you
you're
can.
that
You
you
cannot
got me
say
not
that.
making sense anymore. You're automatically assuming that certain degrees are not going to pay back their loans, or else you would give them the loan.
I'm not-
You would give art degree majors a loan if you knew they were going to pay you back.
But
So
they're
you're
doing that.
But
assuming,
the government doesn't make investment. That's what a sound investor does, or what a bank does. The government doesn't think that way.
well,
it's not-
Jake,
they're
I'm
not
not assuming. I'm not.
They're not
yes, you
giving
are,
these
because then they
loan-
would give you the loan.
They
they're-
don't.
They're not giving these loans in an investment portion. Like, they're not.
Right.
They're not thinking of it like.
That's what I'm saying.
I
And
need to make
that's
sure
why
they're
we're
I'm gonna
trillions
make
of
money
dollars
off
in
it.
debt.
But I
And
agree. That's what I'm saying.
That's
But
because
they
they're trying
shouldn't.
to give people opportunities that they wouldn't normally have. And then there's educational companies that take advantage of that turn it into a
Absolutely.
predatory tax
Absolutely.
practice, and that bastardize the intent of what they're
all
trying to do.
this comes back to really is why is the cost of college so inflated? Like we wouldn't even need to be having this conversation.
Well, it's because the government got in the first place.
Bingo.
What's
They-
that?
the government got into education in the first place. They started offering $20,000, and suddenly, school became $20,000.
Exactly.
It's the concept of I have a X budget and I must spend X budget or I lose it.
And
Right.
you can't disagree with that. I'm just
No,
saying.
I
that
agree
the
wholeheartedly.
intent of it is not
Yeah.
to do that.
Well,
It's
the
not-
solution
it's not
is
to
very
say-
obviously
I-
get government out of education.
Yeah, they need
At
to
least
stop. They need to. At
that
the
I would
very
agree.
least, stop
I-
handing
I
out
I
totally
agree that I
loans.
don't
Yeah.
necessarily think
Yeah.
that's the federal government that's predatory. It's more kind of the college education system.
Well, the
in
federal government-
itself
sorry.
is because they push students to go to college right out of school. They even say that you won't get loans or certain things if you don't go right the year after you go to school. And they kind of
So
like
I mean, people are lying.
there's like
to you then.
scare
That's-
well, not
yeah.
they're probably not lying. There's probably some grants or things that you won't get.
I'll tell you what. You pop out a kid, you're gonna get more grants.
Yeah.
Joe
They're
brings
not
up.
telling- do they teach you that in school?
No, they don't. But
Like, go ahead
but,
and get pregnant
but,
because college will be free.
but they
Well,
they kind of
Well,
I would
I
say
guess it depends on
I
if
would
you're-
say a
what?
great
On
portion
what
of
gender you're,
I can't read.
I would
all
say a
over
great
there.
portion of kids coming out of
What's
high
it say?
school aren't ready for
It's like
college,
games or podcasts,
and
not a religious
maybe it's a fault on the education system in high school or
I'll switch to 4K here soon.
it's hard to know what you want to do for the rest of your life at 18 years old. So
That's true.
so I feel like yeah, like the loan system itself isn't predatory, but it's like the societal construct of you have to go to college that makes it feel
I mean,
predatory.
college does a lot of great things, and like
Yeah,
I agree. I
absolutely.
wish
You know-
I wish I waited and went to college more informed, and then maybe I wouldn't be so upset at how things. I also hate a lot of aspects of college, but
if there isn't personal liability in your hatred of college, like I'd say there's something wrong there. It's not anybody else's fault than your own for going and then not pursuing and not.
well, the
finishing
thing
and,
is,
like,
well,
I would
I
agree. I would
but the
agree
thing
with
is,
you,
the
yeah,
reason
to-
I don't.
I tell you what,
the
if I
reason
would
I
have
haven't-
went fresh out of high school, I'd be completely different outlook than when I had to pay every dime of that
Oh yeah.
myself.
Yeah, the reason I have like different, I guess, bad feelings about it is because the field I went to study, I finished and aced. It's the other requirements I needed to get my piece of paper that says I'm qualified.
See, those
That's
are
the-
just as important.
Not all of them.
I
elected-
It all very well
My-
depends. It all
then
very
get
well
a
depends.
certification. Don't go to college.
Right, but like
I
if
agree,
you-
but
if
you don't know
need
that
a-
when you go into college.
If you
like,
need a bachelor's degree, you know what I mean. Like, in order to get that bachelor's degree, you have to take music appreciation.
Well, there's
You know what I mean?
certain electives, and it depends on where you go.
but
That's
And,
fair.
I mean,
Fair
you
enough.
have choices.
But that
okay,
was
yeah,
my
but the
point.
fact
is
that you have
it's
to
not
make a
necessarily true.
choice-
It depends. There's a lot of really pointless, crappy electives that have no bearing on what you're going to do in your future, what you're going to do with that piece of paper when you graduate.
You are limited on choices where you can
So-
go to. Like in the
Oh,
state,
yeah, a
you
little.
basically have to be. You know, there are some places where you can go, like Toledo. I think you can go and pay in-state tuition if you're from Michigan. But that's not always the case. You know, I mean, sometimes that raises the cost exponentially.
If you're going out of state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could be limited to a handful of colleges that have your program that you want in your state. You know what I mean?
Yeah, granted, you're limited to a handful, which is what, 5 or
Yeah,
6?
yeah, probably.
You
That's
have
probably
choices.
fair.
Yeah, no, you have.
But what now? What if? Okay, so I'm going to use my example of music appreciation that I had to take to get my bachelor's degree. I had no business taking a music appreciation class in the whole elective bracket that class was in. Like they were all like in that vein, right?
It's
Like,
outright criminal to make you take something
I agree.
like that.
I agree.
I don't agree with that. And I'll get into that. I'm going to let you
Okay.
finish. But
Well, I just think that, and when you look at my program, which was sport management, sports law was not included in my required courses. Right, that was an elective outside of even my bachelor's.
understand, yeah.
You know what I mean? So who designed that to where sport
was it
management
required on a
majors-
master's? Maybe
I think it may have been.
So, I mean, maybe that's the structure.
To be
that's
fair, the
being
master's
employed.
program at Central for sport management is literally the same courses with you have to do an extra book report
Now,
for
here's-
most of the classes.
And granted, I don't know that, but so just because you don't like music appreciation or didn't see the value in it does not mean it's valueless.
Oh no!
So, like,
I would say it's valueless to your degree.
that doesn't mean necessarily that it is valueless. So
That's-
that gives you perspective on a lot of things, especially on the artistic sense of it. So, like,
Yeah, but like
it's
is
college is more about broadening your horizons and
that's
making
not
you
what college
understand-
should be.
Yes, it should be, and it's more about understanding the entirety of it.
Why should-
See, I don't understand why we're smiling and shaking your head. Like, it's not just
I don't think
I
college
It's
should
prepare
be
you for
that.
the workforce.
if
That 100%.
so that's trade school and that's certification.
Yeah.
which are not college.
Well,
I think that's what college should be.
So college is an
I did both.
education. So, I mean, so did I.
I feel like
also don't
I feel like it's been
college-
inflated. I agree. I
So,
understand what you're
just
saying.
because-
The well-rounded concept, right?
Exactly. So, like, you have to understand. I'm having trouble articulating it because it's not just your single narrow field.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Could some of this be? Couldn't you absorb some of this extra stuff from extracurriculars? Like I remember I had a journalism class where they offered, not through the journalism class, but there, like you could go to an etiquette dinner, right, and learn how to, like, you know what
Right,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that type of stuff's important.
So maybe that school that you went to wasn't diverse enough in what they offered to interest you, but that doesn't mean it's not necessary.
Well, I think the problem
For
is
a
like
working
when,
individual.
let's say that this is segment C of my degree, right? Was whatever the music appreciation class was in. Like, couldn't it have been broader? Like, I know they had the courses.
I mean, I'm sure.
know
I'm
what I
sure
mean? But,
nothing's
like-
perfect.
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was just what it feels like is a cash grab. It's like, okay, well, we're charging $380 a credit hour. Let's just throw this music appreciation class in there. And it was in a giant lecture hall, so I wasn't the only one that was shoehorned into taking this type of class.
I agree that a lot of classes do feel like it's just trying to. You're just trying to
You're meeting a
make
quota.
up all these requirements so you can get so much money out of the student.
So I had to take that,
I
and I
think
had to
that's
take a drama
that's
class.
incredibly wrong.
You know what I
think
mean? It was
it's
just
terrible.
like I
Yeah.
totally agree with the well-rounded concept, but when they're charging so much per credit hour, and then like you have to take multiple of the same.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I wasn't required to take any kind of mathematics.
I think the statistics
like,
is the only
very,
thing
like-
that you're ever required to
if
take.
you're not any sort of math or science major or any sort of engineering type thing, it's literally just statistics and you're done.
I didn't take.
I had to
Personally,
take
I think
more
I
than
should have had to
just
take a
statistics.
personal finance class.
What was your degree in? I'm just
I
curious.
Applied
agree.
sciences.
well, yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
so
sense.
yeah.
I think it's criminal that you can get a bachelor's degree and a high school diploma, for that matter, without any real world courses. You know what I mean? Like I'm taking a business class right now, and I had to make a personal budget for it. I've never done that in my life, and I have a bachelor's degree.
That should
You
be
know what I mean?
that
Like,
should
how-
be high
you know,
school.
It really
Yeah.
should
High
be.
school.
there's-
should-
what I'm saying is
like,
I-
they kind of took out a lot of like the home ec and the stuff like that.
I
That teach you how
agree
to
that
balance
that
a
should
checkbook.
be-
Well,
and
not
That should be
even
high
that,
school
but the
mortgage.
Yeah,
that kind of-
I
home
think
ec
that's so
courses
much more important.
are so they're not supervised at all by people who are creating the curriculum.
Jake, is that
So
your
we
mom?
took a home ec class in high school. Half of the course was literally watching Lifetime movies.
Well, I mean, that's the fault of the school, right? Like
Well,
that,
yeah,
they shouldn't allow
but
that.
that's my point. It was a home ec course,
What
right?
kind of movies?
like Sally's being beat by Billy, who's on the wrestling team.
Which is wrong.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just silly. But I mean, and that's a problem. So, and that I mean,
maybe if they had some cooking
there
classes,
that was
you wouldn't
another
be
part of
buying
it.
frozen chicken.
Can we
There
also
was a
agree
cooking
that
portion, but they didn't teach us how to cook.
can we also agree that college you could probably get away with it in 2 years unless you're going to be a doctor or
I think the whole sense of years is kind of arbitrary. Like, what is it?
semesters?
Yeah,
yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
how they can shoehorn all the, out of nowhere.
No, I
electives in there.
I don't think all those elective courses are worthless. I think
No,
there is
I don't
I
think
think
so
there is a
either.
requirement in a lot of cases for
I
people
think-
who kind of no matter what their major is should take a writing course, for instance. I think there should be a
Yeah.
writing
I
requirement for a
really
lot of
think
degrees.
I would like
but they're
music appreciation, like that, understanding and appreciating.
yeah, but
things
whether
that happen for
whether
me,
you like it or
And it
not
being
has
an
no bearing
elective
on
is
if it's
fine.
I mean, I think-
effective to what your degree is
So,
going to be in.
I mean, that's social interaction. How you
I mean,
communicate
all
with people
classes
and
are, but-
understand and empathize with
That's-
things that other people like and
That's
art
fair.
in general. You
that's
know?
that's
Like,
fair. That's fair. But there
for somebody that's not
unless
artistic
that's-
like myself, it's hard to teach that. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's
I understand.
It's harder
I
to
understand.
learn it. Like
That's
when you
what I'm saying,
don't
it's a
care
sense
about it,
that I
like
don't
it's hard
have,
to
But
go every day.
and that's kind of my point though. They don't when you take these courses, they don't emphasize on stuff like that.
No.
They just say, here's some music, listen to it, tell me what you felt about it. Write a
Well,
paper and tell me what you felt
College
about it.
is
And
pretty
it's-
much going to be what you make it.
I think that
Well, that's-
I think
that-
that's
that's
a
kind of fair,
much
too,
more
but-
valid point than the well-rounded student, right? Because like when you move away to college, you have to learn. For most people, you have to learn how to do your laundry. You have to learn how you're going to feed yourself without mom calling you to the dinner table.
Right.
You know, so these are all things you
Uncooked
learn.
ramen.
You crunched on.
I had some really good roommates who cooked dinner all the time.
I don't know how
so
you
it
guys
was-
did that.
Nope.
Stuff's disgusting.
Not at all.
Oh
Wouldn't
my
happen.
god.
All right. So
Dorm
Robin-
life.
Ramen's crappy
People
enough
want
as
us
it
to talk
is.
about games, or Jason does. Jason wants us to talk about
Well, we
games.
can talk about 40K.
We probably should move into something gaming.
We got a
related.
lot of 40K stuff to talk about. There's been a
feel like we
Oh,
need-
dude, Amory just joined. She would have been backing me up on all this college stuff. Let's move on.
yeah, but anyway.
Amory, you can leave now.
So
You can leave now.
so 40K, Space Marines. That's the big
feel
hype
like
right
that's-
now.
Oh,
Huh?
big hype
Space
right
Marines.
Isn't it always?
Let's we
To
talked
be
about
fair,
that last
yeah.
week. Let's talk about
Not all.
Dude, not for the last few years. It hasn't
I'm
been.
gonna be honest,
What's
man.
that?
I am not.
What's
I'm
that?
not at all excited for this.
Dude,
I don't
I am
look.
incredibly
I
excited.
don't
all
think it's
excited
going to be
for
as
it.
bad as you think it's going to be.
Dude, it feels like a new faction is being added to the game.
Kind of.
Because they've been gone and awful for
They
so long.
literally made top 8 at LVO, bro.
Gilliman did.
It doesn't
Dude,
matter.
no, dude, okay.
It
I'm
matters-
talking about.
So did Eldar. I
like,
mean,
you could
said
see- you could see-
it was Yanari at
I'm
the
saying
time.
White Scars.
Let me ask you
I'm
this.
saying like Crimson Fists.
Yeah,
and
you're going to see.
Iron
You're going to
Hands,
see.
like,
You're going to see a much more wider
Let me ask you this: is
array of Space Marine stuff, which is good.
which
is good.
We have this problem in Magic a lot that since something exists, creating new stuff could make it things too broken. Since Gilliman exists, could creating some stuff in Space Marines make it too OP?
Oh,
Well,
Well,
they toned Gilliman
they
down.
nerfed- they hit him
actually
with a
changed that.
big old
They
nerf
nerfed
bat.
him. They
Yeah.
nerfed him.
They
So
nerfed him real
they
hard.
dropped one of his. They
Wasn't that
dropped
frickin' hard.
probably one of his best abilities. Probably
No,
his best
no,
ability.
the best
And
ability
they,
in the
and they
game.
changed it. And they changed it to where now what he does is achievable with 2 different characters at a lower points value.
Is that a problem to you?
What's that?
What they did to Gilliman?
No, not at all.
No, I mean
Okay.
he's still
Not at
a
all.
beat stick.
He was.
I
he
think
was,
he still has plenty of utility.
Sure,
And
I
I
do
think
too.
he
I
will
don't-
be played.
I don't-
I know people say he's not.
Well,
gonna
I don't,
be
I
now-
don't necessarily
now-
think he's going to be
Really
played in a
have
competitive
conversation.
sense, but I think
no,
he'll still get some
Gilliman,
use out of him.
Gilliman has to be played now by getting him into your opponent's face as fast as you can. Whereas previously he was.
Doesn't that make more sense? The guy's got a giant flaming sword.
I mean,
Seriously said
sure,
that.
but previously the army wasn't built that way. You know, the army wasn't good at melee. Now you can get intercessors with 6 attacks apiece.
Yeah,
if you stack all the right relics.
I think
and
that's
stuff.
what
I know.
everybody was looking for.
I'm actually
I mean-
quite excited for a lot of stuff too because it's not going to be. It's
Harold,
not going to be a bunch of.
don't you dare say stuff like that.
It's not going to be a bunch of mix mash.
He goes herd poxwalkers getting a points drop.
They very well could, but
but how are you gonna
it's
play
not
if you don't
that.
have
it-
models?
I got
I was
80
looking through-
poxwalkers that are never going to see the table.
I was looking through a lot of the stuff, and
Talking to your mic,
it
bro.
doesn't.
That's a mistake.
It doesn't seem very broken. Like a lot of the stuff they're coming out with. So take your doctrines for instance. You're not going to have Loyal 32 souped in there because they don't get that.
No, you literally can't.
Yeah, I know you won't
if
get all
you-
that stuff.
If you have a
Yeah,
single,
exactly.
if you have a single non-space marine model in your army, nothing gets
That's
doctored.
how.
Exactly.
That's how all that stuff should be.
Exactly. So
you
you're,
shouldn't
so
be
you're gonna see,
catechins if you've got.
Yeah.
which is going to require you to spend points in other ways. So I think intercessors are going to be a lot better, and I think aggressors are going to be a lot better. Those are really the only 2 units I think that are going
I'm
to
going to get trolled forever about this.
outshine their former
Harold's
self.
a
All the other
professional
units,
troll.
all the other units, I think
Pro
are going to
troll.
Look
get
at Jason.
are going to get a moderate buff.
Your
But I
Poxwalkers
don't
are gonna get
I don't
a
think they're
4-up
going to be
pinball.
that broken.
I don't think Space Marines are going to be broken.
I don't either.
They're going to hit a lot harder than
Yeah.
they did before, but they're still in power armor.
I've never.
Yeah.
They're still just going to get leaf
Well,
blowered.
you're paying you're paying
That's
high
literally
amount.
never been my experience
Dude,
in 8th edition.
dude,
never
talk-
once.
talk-
I have
I had
Even with my Eldar,
I played
that's not been my
I played
experience.
against Travis in that tournament. I think it was the last one he played in. And literally in my first turn, I killed every single Space Marine he had on the table. Every single guy in power armor, except for the guys that I couldn't reach in the way back, was dead.
I mean no offense to Joel or Lubke, but like ask
Yeah, exactly.
ask them what my robots have done to them in games.
Exactly. So this, I mean, so outside of
To
our
be fair, that's like
intercessors-
one of the most broken things. If left alone in a vacuum, like that robot thing.
I mean,
is like,
to be
Yeah.
fair, robots are just outright marine killers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
that. Yeah, but that's but like
intercessor killers at that. Like
I mean,
They-
they're
it's
not
all
2
2
damage,
damage.
but
They're not 2
No,
damage.
they're
Oh,
one
I thought
damage.
they were.
No, they're 1
I
damage.
thought they were.
But,
Those
uh,
things should have no rend. It's ridiculous.
yeah,
they're
they're,
too.
the thing is you can counter them. You know what I mean? But like for people around here, like they don't know how to beat them. So
And
it's like super broken.
So I was looking at the litanies today. This was the first time I looked at the litanies,
which I just looked at them recently
Wh-
too.
which are
and
kind of
What's a
meh.
litany?
They're really just kind of meh.
Are you
I
serious?
see, like after studying
I
a
don't know how
little
to spell
closer,
40K.
I like them a lot
Zero.
more.
Really?
Well,
I
'cause
looked
you
at them.
can-
Well, your chaplain didn't go up in points, which is really important because the Dark Apostle went up by like 30 points when they came out with the new
The
stuff.
points are not
So-
going to be right in this book anyway. Like we don't know.
Well, I
you
think
know,
we're-
it needs to be exposed.
I think
to,
we're gonna. I think it's gonna be a lot better off too once Chapter Proof comes out. Because
Well,
I think
sure.
I think a
I mean,
lot,
that's
'cause
that's the point, right? The
I think
balancing act
aggressors
of-
are gonna go
What's
up
Chapter
in Chapter
Approved
Approved. Chapter Approved is the yearly update where they adjust points and
No,
some
well,
rules.
I understand that, but what does it mean?
It's a play on Space Marine chapters.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
the chapter
Like-
approves your new tactic or
Got it.
whatever it is.
Okay.
yeah,
No, I'm telling you, man. I
I don't think it's gonna be that big.
I haven't seen the codex yet. All
Kill
I've seen is the
They
leaks.
really.
Yeah, I've seen. I think I've seen a vast. I think I've seen a vast majority.
I think
went,
it's going to cause a big shift for 40k.
I think that's good.
I think it is too.
I think it's
I,
good.
yeah, no, I don't think meta shakeups are bad.
No, I don't either.
But I mean, again, like
I guess
we're
I
still,
mean more
we're still
than a
talking
meta
about
shakeup.
we're still talking about Space Marines though.
Yeah.
Like
Still
they're
think
not hard to
that a
kill.
fly
The
tying
vehicles are
degree
not hard to kill. There's
makes
no
you a
invuln
well-rounded
saves.
especially
Dude,
especially when you're
intercessors,
talking.
in my experience, are hard to get out of
yeah,
cover,
yeah, but
man.
not when you compare it to what you're paying points
Well,
for.
there is one new stratagem that
Oh,
is
transhuman physiology.
that is particularly
yeah, that's
nasty.
Really good.
Yeah,
but that's still only one unit.
What is it? No,
It,
you gotta tell
okay,
us
so
what it is.
transhuman physiology is a, I think it's a 2 command point
Yeah, I
stratagem,
think it's 2 command
where
points.
you pick a unit of Space Marines on the table,
Ion shield.
and it's
When they're targeted.
wound rolls of 1, 2, or 3 automatically fail.
Yeah,
Brad's like his hype man.
yeah.
So you can't wound them at
Goes,
anything
like,
better than a
explaining the
4.
rules, and he's like, Iron Shield.
Yeah.
He's got it.
We're
I'm just saying
we're,
it
we're
works
just,
like Ion
we're
Shield
just
when they're
viewers
targeted.
like
I'm
them.
saying it's
Hype.
No, that's fair, man. I don't know. I've been
It's good that you're
trying to
passionate.
put this off a little bit.
And I
I mean,
think-
I'm not.
Here's something you might want to get excited for. I think it's going to set a new standard for 40k as well. If anything, Space Marines are usually a pretty good indicator of a trend
See,
setter.
this is an interesting thought because
Yeah.
I said this at the very, very start
What's
of
a
8th edition. Like,
Smurf's
God, I hope
power?
Space Marines aren't the first ones to get a codex because they'll suck forever.
I don't know how you ever thought they wouldn't be the first one.
Well, I know I didn't
Well,
think
they-
that they
they
wouldn't.
weren't
I just
last edition.
hoped.
They
You know
weren't
what I mean?
last edition.
But now
They were
they're
one
the
of the last
first.
ones.
They're the first to get this rule where if you include soup,
you
you are
lose it.
gimped.
Yeah, and I think we're going to
Well,
see a
it's
lot
only
more of
from
those
doctrines.
rules.
You still get your
Dude,
chapter
doctrines
tactics.
are how they're good now.
Yeah.
Right,
With-
but
without
nobody else
doctrines,
has anything equivalent to that.
Yeah.
Well, for now.
Yet.
I think
They're going
Okay,
to
but
continue
dude,
to
it's been
implement
over
things
2
into the game
years,
to
like-
discourage soup.
It's been over 2 years, and we don't even have every codex yet, do we?
we're just missing
Aside
sisters.
from Sisters of Battle.
So what I'm saying is, you're talking about the next wave. We're still 2 years out. Like we're gonna have 9th edition. you
Okay,
know,
here-
and meaning a
Sure.
new Space Marine codex for 9th edition.
I mean that's not true.
I
it's
don't
literally
necessarily.
how-
I don't necessarily
as
think
long
that's-
as long as the edition is 100% backwards compatible with the codex, then no.
it
Look at
doesn't even
7th
have to be.
edition. I don't know how long it took into 7th edition. for them
It
to
took
get a
towards the
codex.
end. They were one of the last ones to get a codex.
Yeah,
In
Well, how-
7th edition, then they use a lot of 6th edition codexes.
they did.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, Space Marines was
8th
one of
edition
them.
is the first edition where everybody got a current codex because they had to.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like
yeah, it's true,
Necrons were literally playing in 6th edition with their 3rd edition codex. If I'm not,
I don't think
misquoted.
That's
was
correct.
it a 3rd edition codex?
Yeah.
A softback.
And
Yeah.
I think you're actually thinking 5th.
No.
No,
they
I
did
think
not
you're
have.
thinking 5th.
They did
Oh,
not
yeah,
have
it's
5th
fifth.
edition codex.
No, 'cause-
they
yeah,
dominated
it's
in
definitely
5th with the
fifth.
3rd edition.
6th and
Definitely
7th
fifth.
were like big like shakeups like 8th edition was.
No, I
so
looked it
like
up.
you had
It's
to get new material for 6th edition.
All
I
right,
believe,
so-
because the game changed so much.
Here's
No,
here,
they didn't get
No?
a codex until 7th edition.
Here's a-
Remember, they
here's
were
a,
7.5.
here's a flaw in the the anti-soup trend, I suppose, is that I suppose like is it going to be as competitive as soup?
Yes, I think so.
So like
If
if it's
your
not as good as
game-
soup, if soup's always going to be better. If there's a way to soup and it's better, then it's going to be.
Yeah,
I
if,
think-
if
I think
you,
you're right.
I
To
don't know
be
if you
fair,
can-
Space
huge
Marines
bump.
aren't being
I don't know
used
if
in
you
soup,
can-
really.
I don't know
mean,
if you
it
can
was-
kill soup necessarily.
I don't think soup needs to be killed, but it doesn't need to be incentivized.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
and,
I
and
think-
here-
If people
and
want
here's
to
the
play that
thing
way,
with-
they should have the ability to play that way.
and doctrines are incredibly powerful.
Yeah, they're really
like,
good.
like doctrines are the, in my opinion, are the only thing that makes Space Marines like good again. So like I
might agree
will
with that.
never
I don't
feel the
either.
Loyal 32
So I
or
might agree
Rusty
with that.
17
I
with,
don't agree with it.
with my Marines because like
don't know what it is.
I just-
Not reading it.
yeah,
Doctrines
oh,
are-
absolutely.
like a
And I-
Doctrines
like a
are super
different-
limiting too.
I mean, sure, but you
You-
build.
you can't
like to
jump
me.
around.
You would build your list around your doctrine.
Exactly. I think it'll actually be very interesting too, because it's not just put on table and win. You
I
actually
think the
have to
chapter
take
tactics are going to be very,
take
very.
certain steps.
I mean, sure, the chapter checks are definitely better.
Like
they're
absolutely.
plus they apply to
Blinkers are
vehicles now.
actually,
Big step in the right
Yeah.
direction.
I mean, that,
chaos
I don't.
because like
I'm worried that Marines are going to be
So,
too
like,
offensive
just
for
add them into any
because they have
chaos
all these
army
rules.
you need.
They added all these rules throughout the course of 8th. Where they're like, oh, we need to bump Space Marines a little bit, and then they kept those, and then also we're like, here's 3 helpings of all this other crap. You know what I mean? So they have all the rules that were meant to bring them up, and then they just pushed them over the top.
Well, see,
So
I
you're gonna
think
think with like buckets of you're gonna be shooting more than a guard army, hitting and wounding better.
Oh yeah,
than a
you're gonna
guard
no,
army.
no. That's what I was saying earlier. Aggressors are gonna be retarded. Like Ultramarine aggressors
think you
are
can
gonna
say
be.
that.
I'm sorry, they're gonna be special. Ultramarine aggressors are gonna be really dumb.
I mean, they're not even the highest damage output. ones. They're not even gonna be the highest damage
so what's
output.
another
ones.
synonym I can use? Hold on, Ultramarine
Good. They're
aggressor.
gonna be really,
Not-
really good.
Ridiculous.
ridiculous. So for 222 points, if you're in your tactical doctrine, you get 70. What was it? Like 76?
It's 6 per model plus
No,
D6.
well, it'd be 12 per model.
12 per model plus 2d6.
So 72 shots plus 12d6, strength 4 neg 1 shots. It's gonna be ridiculous.
You know what sucks?
What?
Being a
If
poxwalker on the
someone's,
receiving
if
end of
someone's
that.
being dumb on there, we can just censor them. But you
We can't stop.
can't.
We're gonna have to
Say the other word I
euthanize.
used. Anyway, so yeah, so that's gonna be kind of dumb. And then I think intercessors
Soup
there
can
are
still be viable.
definitely gonna. I agree
It
with
can
you.
be.
I'm just gonna read the comments because I have
sure.
nothing to
Yeah,
contribute.
just-
Intercessors,
Your
intercessors are going to be way worth their points now
Brad
because of
Stapp.
doctrines and because of the
From Eli.
Ultramarine. I don't
Brad
care.
Stapp.
I
Jesus.
think intercessors definitely took a step in the right direction.
Oh,
for,
absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely.
I could see paying 17 points for them.
I don't think
Absolutely.
they were as trash as you guys thought they were before. Though.
they didn't hit hard enough, or were survivable
Everything's
enough
gonna
to
hit too hard now.
Well, see,
I'm-
I
right
really
now,
think Space Marines are going to kind of take the Eldar avenue, right? Everything's fairly easy to kill, but it hits super hard.
I don't think I don't.
Well,
They're
I'm
easier to
again,
stand still,
I'm just
easier
I'm
to
saying
stand
that,
still
that
than Eldar, but
having a
If you
hard time
stand
killing
still,
Space
the
Marines is a
biggest
problem that's
weakness in the
pretty
game.
unique to Guard because you rely
Strike from
on
Tony.
no AP shooting.
Ultramarines ignore that.
Ultramarine
There's I don't
Marines
really-
ignore. Oh, I don't have to
previous
talk about it.
Marines also did, but now not so
I didn't
much.
type that.
Brad Stapp.
At any rate, I don't know. I think it's going to be. I'm legitimately worried because it's not like so. Guard were really really good, but GW had no problem saying stop. I'm very concerned that they're not going to have that
I'd
same
like to,
restraint.
Eli, you're
On
gonna have to be
Space
more
Marines?
On
specific.
Space
There's two
Marines.
Tonys here.
In the past, that's all of 8th edition.
But I
That's been
appreciate it.
disproven.
I think.
Yeah, I don't.
Space Marines have been continuously nerfed
That-
through
that-
8th edition.
I mean, they've lost a couple things, but
Yeah,
like,
I mean, even take.
but no,
even
they
take,
they haven't been good enough to nerf.
well, even take Dark Angels. Like you had people running the Dark Talon. There was a list with 3 Dark Talons in it once, and they're
Yeah.
like, nope, can't do it. 40 points more.
But that's
And
not
they-
not Ultramarines though. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
but it's another Space Marine faction
Yeah,
that
but-
they're not scared to nerf, and they have pretty much all the other things that Ultramarines have, minus a few units.
They took
You
away
are
that double
overreaching.
shooting mortal
Papa
wounds
Smurf
thing.
is
That's
gone.
reacting.
Yeah, that too.
You're overreacting. Papa Smurf is gone.
You
run numbers on.
Who typed that?
This is Tony's
Migs
This is Tony's comment.
2874.
Too many people named Tony.
That's Jason.
So you run numbers on aggressors. It's how not 75. I can't fucking read it.
It's now not
do it.
75% wounds. It's
And it's
oh,
gone.
and it's gone. Can't read
All
the
right.
rest.
Anyway,
Got in the
no,
way.
I don't know, and obviously, like these things have to be played out. I'm just all I'm saying is from what I've seen, I'm
pulses went up, too.
legitimately concerned.
I mean, the price on Smash Captains went way up.
oh, yeah,
The-
the Thunderhammers are 40 points.
Yeah, a Thunderhammer is 40
Thors?
points.
Thors are only 40
No,
points.
they're not Mjolnir hammers. They're just Thunderhammers.
Yeah, they're not God of Thunderhammers.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't think
Tim,
I don't
what's
think
it
it's
like
going to be.
getting ganged up on.
I don't think it's
Dude,
going to
this
be crazy.
This is my 40K
Wait,
life.
we're not ganging up on anybody.
Yeah, it kind of is.
From the outside looking in.
every single time something comes
Look at
up,
his posture.
every
He's
single time
like-
something
I'm
comes
sitting the
up,
same way though.
you guys
I
have
know,
different
but, like,
opinions.
he's-
Right, but that doesn't mean we're ganging up on
These
it.
guys are
Well,
excited, and
so it's always-
I'm not excited.
it's always
about it.
it's
Well,
always
to be
like
fair, you're rarely excited.
That's not true.
so.
Not true.
It's always you two explaining the same position to Tim, and Tim has a different position always on something.
I typically disagree with the two of these.
Well, I
And
think
it's-
you just take a negative stance toward anything getting better in 40K.
well,
Or his army
I
getting
don't
worse.
think that's fair. I think Tim usually takes a negative stance to anything
That's-
getting
that
better.
might
That's
be fair.
fair.
Not
That's
just
fair.
40K.
But I think if you're being honest, like Space Marines do have a special place in GW's heart.
Sure.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And that's why they're finally getting.
Look, all I'm saying is if they
rules like
cared
this.
about other armies as much as Space Marines, Poxwalkers would not be 6
Listen,
points
and-
right
and
now.
look,
I agree.
At the
I
end
totally
of the
agree.
day, at the end of the day, they're not going to be Yunari. Okay, they're not.
I
gonna,
hope. I mean,
they're
I
not.
hope
They're not going to be ridiculous and broken. And like I listened to a podcast earlier today that was like an all Space Marine episode, and they didn't think that either. They think they're going to be good.
Yeah,
they're going to be really
exactly.
good.
And that's what I'm excited for. I'm actually excited to play against some good Space Marines. And actually, I think a lot of the stuff to come out of that codex is going to
That's
be a
because Tim
solid
plays
counter
guard.
to a lot of
That's
other
fair.
things.
I do play guard.
So
I don't know.
so
I don't
take
know what
that-
he's referring to specifically.
I
but
don't either, but it's funny.
Take those aggressor units, for instance. That's going to crap all over my drones. It's going to shoot them full of wounds, and they're going to go.
Don't even
To be
talk
fair,
about
though,
the drop
they
pod
are
rules.
18
Lol.
inches. Hey,
That's true.
we haven't even
Lol.
gotten to the drop pod rules yet.
Wait, there's more.
I think
There's
that-
new rules.
No, well, I mean, it can break
He just
rules
said
again.
don't
They
talk
can
about
they
them.
can come in on
He
turn
did
one.
that, so we would talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
they can break rules
so
actively again.
Okay,
but
well,
I don't.
I tried to. Dude, we
I
had
get
this
it, I get
conversation
it.
the other day.
But I don't know if it's going to have a massive impact. I just
Well,
really,
if it drops, it will.
I don't get it.
It's a pod.
I really do dislike when it's like, it literally says on the data slate, match play. Ignore the match play rule for tactical reserves. That really irks me.
Do you really?
I get it.
Do you
I
really?
get it,
No,
but it does
do
irk
you,
me.
Do you really think it's fair to pay 65 points to give something the ability to deep strike?
Bro, all I'm saying is I pay 75 points for a Chimera that can't do anything. So, like, this edition is totally...
Dude,
I would
for
totally
the last,
say yes.
For
that
the
has more
last
utility than
3
the
years,
Chimera.
we've been paying. Like, at the start of the edition, drop pods were 105 points.
That's what they
You
should have
don't-
been in 7.
Do you think?
Dude, they were way better in 7.
They're going to
Not
be
100,
they're going to
not
be better
100.
Yes, they
now.
were.
They're going to be better now
You
than
wouldn't
they
have
were
to
in
pay for
7.
them anyway. What are
No,
you
they
talking
won't.
about? They would have been
You don't
totally
think so?
free.
FAQ states
Dude,
the
in 7th
doors count.
you could just be like,
Which is stupid. But,
you're a
that's...
drop pod.
I have
you
no
could be
And
right
you
there.
could you could
Someone
do you
could
could also do
drop
objective
GW
security
can't
and
get
stuff
drop
too.
pods,
So-
right?
So you can't.
Also,
So,
I just want to
like,
I am kind of afraid to bring drop
I
pods.
forgot.
It
Like, you
doesn't
can't
Because
move
if
through
you
it.
drop
doesn't-
it,
it really doesn't
say you
matter.
can't
drop
move
it
through
on
so
an
like,
objective,
Like there's a.
You're gonna tell me
and your
anyways,
opponent
though.
has troops,
Yeah.
they just run
can,
up,
like, block
charge
the
a
field
drop
with
pod,
drop
and now
pods.
they're in
So
combat
your-
with your
so
drop
their
pod
army can't go through it
forever.
Yeah.
Unless they kill
And
the
you
drop pod.
can never shoot them because
Yeah.
and now they just have your objective
Yeah.
forever.
Oh, that is
Immobilize
true. That is true.
forever.
You know, we could go back to 7th where those were objective secured. That'd be cool.
That would be stupid.
Yeah, that would not be right.
I'm surprised that wasn't
I'm
like
not
a
saying it
thing.
again.
You know, they've
Everybody
always
heard
done
you explain it.
something like that with Space Marines before.
With objective
Like,
security.
yeah, some kind of
Well,
like,
it's not like
super
they-
object-
it's not like
So, I
they-
mean, you know,
I'm glad they didn't.
I'm not advocating for it, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying I could have seen it.
I think that's something that needs to change too. I really think they need to rewrite the rules on objective security. But and then that was another thing that really kind of screws over Space Marines as well, and this will help them in that direction. So since objective security is based on number of models and not units, Space Marines are at a disadvantage right there because they inherently bring less models.
I guarantee that,
Sure, but they're
that's
supposed
not
to
going to
be
come up and be an
killer.
issue.
Plus,
they're
now
just going to kill those hordes now.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
They're gone
I still think they're going to have trouble with demons.
because they get a 5-up save.
Yeah,
Yeah, in
but
some-
because,
well,
you
yeah,
mean
because the
plague bears?
Well,
yeah,
I'm
especially
expecting
plague bears.
some nerfs to come down out of chapter approved. I think plague bears are going to get hit hard.
I don't think they're
gonna
going to
really?
hit that
A
hard.
bunch of like people in an office like throwing Nerf balls at those guys.
I mean,
I had
Yeah.
some other things that I envisioned back in October of last year when Guard were getting touched. I was like, man, what are they doing over there in
So, I ju-
Nottingham? Like,
I remember that conversation. Like Brad was like at his wit's end, and you were like, done with 40K entirely, and we were right here.
Oh man,
40K is over.
I think I remember that
It's
too.
horrible.
Yeah.
It's
They were still
390
fine.
points for 6
they had
drop
to walk
He ended
pods.
up getting a
some of the
second
changes.
army, so-
What's that?
390
He ended up
points
getting a
for
second
6
army,
drop
so-
pods.
Yeah, these guys talked me into a second army.
Well, yeah, because you're so annoyed with getting
I don't
railed
really,
by
I don't really
GW
think
with your
we-
guard army.
I don't really
think
think we
that's
talked
why.
you
That's not
into-
why. That's not why
Yeah,
it changed.
No, he
That's
wanted to
fine.
win.
Dude, we gave up on trying to get you to do another army before a long while before you got.
I
into Eldar.
really do enjoy Eldar.
And they're
It's
a great
very
book.
different. It's very
Yeah.
different from
Don't
playing
they have
guard.
big Gundam models?
No, that's
they-
Tau.
It's kind
Well,
of.
I mean they've got
Oh,
the
they-
Wraith
they
Knights.
got-
I
You
guess.
guys right?
I think Tau probably has more Gundam-esque models.
It definitely looks more Japanesey than
Japanese.
you heard
That's
Yeah.
you're
I'm
just on a,
pretty
you're
sure
on a
that's,
whole other
like
level
the,
today,
that's
Brad.
the correct term, right?
Nope.
Where'd you guys go? We went to that Japanesey restaurant.
So
God.
Eldar's the fish people, right?
me. No, that's,
That's
Tau.
incredibly racist.
I'm so lost.
No, they're elves, bro.
Space elves.
So they're Vulcans?
Most of their time is spent on
Yeah,
planets.
the-
It
yeah,
doesn't
it's,
mean
uh,
they're space elves.
It's
I think it
Let's
literally
be honest,
means
Like
space elves.
80% of 40K is like
stolen lore.
mythos or lore or
Amalgamated.
Yeah,
is
yeah, kind of.
definitely
It's,
still-
it's definitely pulled from a bunch of
They do
different
have.
places.
I think what
There's
they
people
did.
with adamantium. Am I right?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Their branding of it's
I'm
really good though.
pretty
Like
sure
the
Marvel
Grimdark,
copywrote
the
that.
Grimdark concept is uniquely GW though. Like
And
putting
if
that.
anybody's ever played Fallout,
To be
what?
fair, I think they were.
they
Look-
look identical to that.
Literally called power armor.
Well, to be fair,
but Fallout's
Fallout-
younger than that.
Yeah,
right?
Fallout's younger. Than
Is it though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Rogue Trader came out in '87. I don't know when the first Fallout concept was. I could be
know
wrong.
the first Fallout was a top-down dungeon crawler. I don't know what year it came out.
I think
I'm gonna look
Fallout
that
is
up,
a
though.
really lame concept.
Why?
I
good
shouldn't say
concept.
really lame. I don't
No.
know.
The concept is actually
Concept's
insane.
great. The execution hasn't been
That's
phenomenal.
fair.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
concept.
I was gonna
How,
say, I
how
think
can you
the
say the
execution
concept is
is
bad?
where it lacks.
You wake up out of
Every
a
single time.
nuclear vault.
Every time you do that.
Okay, but still the concept.
How many games are there now?
Hey,
It's a different
you,
vault.
Hey, you like Elder Scrolls, right?
you know how many? You know how
you know
many?
every single one of those you start as a prisoner.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Really? You're telling me Bethesda has a formula and they're sticking to it?
I don't believe it.
For years, generations even.
First Fallout came in '97.
I actually didn't know that. I didn't know every single Elder Scrolls. I never played 1 or 2.
Oh yeah, but you
I
played.
didn't even really play 3.
Online,
Did you
you
play
start as a
Oblivion?
prisoner?
I mean,
Yeah,
you played Oblivion and Skyrim. Did you ever play
Hold on.
Morrowind?
No, not really. I played a little bit of it.
Okay,
but
well
never.
then you played enough to start,
Morrowind,
which is where you start as a prisoner.
Yeah, you do. You started as a prisoner
Yeah,
online.
no
Yeah,
doubt. As soon as
literally
he said
all
it,
of
I-
these games you
I
start.
believed him.
You have no
I
idea
read- it's
why
been a
you're
minute since I
imprisoned.
played online,
You're
but
just
yeah.
some kind
but
of
the concept is still a cool concept.
Can we talk about how good Fallout 76 turned out to be?
wow.
To be fair,
Wow, 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 wow.
That was a dumpster fire. That
to
was
be fair,
bad.
I knew this was
Some
going to
bad
happen.
things
Apparently,
happened because
it
of
is
this game.
getting better. I expected
I saw
it
an
to.
interview with
Well,
like their head designer.
Yeah, well,
and,
that's
like,
games as a service entirely.
Yeah.
Like, 2 years after release, those games are pretty good.
Dude,
Well,
it's the No
apparently,
Man's Sky
No Man's
concept?
Sky is insane right now. Like it's,
I heard
it's
the
like
same thing.
it is like
They
it-
put in actual multiplayer.
really?
Really?
So you
Well-
can go to the same planet as your friend and find him?
and there's base building and everything.
3 years later.
But no, apparently, so everything you wanted it to be at release, it is
I think it was
now.
longer than. It was definitely
if
longer
not-
than that.
It's coming up on 4, isn't it?
It's everything you wanted it to be and more now. And apparently they've fully leaned into VR too, which
That's cool.
has to be amazing looking because it looked like a fine game.
I'll
You
tell
said-
you what,
I
man,
think
when-
that's awesome that they finally did that. But like as a consumer,
it sucks that
I moved on past it.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
a
thinking
lot of
about
people
getting,
did.
I'm thinking about getting Final Fantasy VIII again
What?
Jason.
instead of No Man's
8
Sky.
was
I'm not
fun.
sure if he's referencing No Man's Sky or Fallout 76, but he said it's about as good as the last season of Game of Thrones.
Bum, 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 bum.
Well, it'll be
I'm gonna put Game of Thrones lower than both of those games.
Unclear?
that's because they still got room to go.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is
The life cycle's not over.
Game of
Yes.
Thrones
Yeah.
is done. No room for improvement.
That's
whereas
true.
Fallout and No Man's Sky.
However, I think they've made just
Only
about
when-
all the money that they're going to make.
Netflix signed those dirtbags, by the way, to like be creative directors of something. So like,
Don't watch that.
well, it's gonna be. I'm assuming
Why
they're
they
gonna be
did a
involved in
pretty
multiple
good
shows.
job until
the beginning,
until they
until-
wanted to get out of it.
Until they
they ran
wrapped
out
it in
of
a bag
source
and lit it on
material.
fire.
Can we speed this up? I really want to be out of this.
Yeah.
Well, so
Uh,
you can have some more time.
Who's
We
all
really
hoping?
wrapped
Who's all
this
hoping
pitch
The
meeting up.
Witcher is
Wow,
the
we
next
just started.
Have you read
beginning
the
of
book?
Game of
Have you read
Thrones?
the books in it?
Witcher's
No.
gonna be good.
I got the first.
I hope
two.
so
so.
are the
There's a lot of stuff they can mess up.
The
but,
Witcher
from
games
what
are
I s-
based on the
the books. Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah.
books, games now show.
It looks like they're going
Okay.
off games. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
I
but
think they're going off books.
they're going off book.
I think
If
they're
they
going
go
off.
off the game, that's going to be a major misstep.
Well, they already included the
Wait,
what's her
what's-
name from Witcher
Harold
3.
says, "I will fight you tomorrow behind the store." What's he talking about?
Game of Thrones, probably.
I will
that's from a
fight
while-
you behind the
it's a while ago.
store.
But
We don't talk about Fight Club.
Like a representation in video games, I think it would be a really big error, like artistically, to base all of that off of the game.
I agree, but they are including that character from Witcher 3, which might probably in the books as well. But like, Triss, yeah,
Tris Marigold. Yeah,
The-
she's
his
one of his love interests.
no, not her then.
Yennefer.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yennefer is
Oh.
also another huge love
The
interest.
is the
Ciri?
Realize who
the
Harold is?
Ciri,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Cirilla. Yeah.
The stepdaughter or whatever.
Yeah, that's Ciri.
Yeah, basically her. Yeah, Emperor Mir's
That's so
daughter.
funny.
Yeah, she's supposed to be in it. She's supposed to be a lot younger.
Wait, I
Um,
might have taken that picture.
However,
Which, to be fair,
it takes place in
to
a
be
weird,
fair,
weird
the
spot.
Or I was
to be
there.
fair, that could be more accurate to the book, where the game chose a different path with that character.
Yeah, very well,
So,
very well. However, I'm pretty sure Project CD Red is usually or CD Project. I think it's CD Project Red is
That
usually
should
pretty
be a
good about
whole,
it.
like,
So take what they're doing with
episode
Cyberpunk right now.
What's that?
are they making the show?
Games not.
No,
being
they're not making the
released
show.
or
But
finished.
when they make a product, they usually
I
get
can
the
talk at
creative
length
designer
about that,
behind
yeah.
the product that they're making it
Predatory
of. So
practices,
Cyberpunk
loot
2077, they literally pulled Mike Pondsmith. And he's actually going to be in a
I know
cameo
that
in the
guy.
game. Yeah, they pulled
I don't
Mike's
know that guy.
I don't know what
Mike
you guys are talking
Pondsmith
about.
made the tabletop
Fallout being
RPG
a
with all
shit
the fluff and
concept.
stuff that they're going to put in the game.
Oh, okay.
So they're
That's cool.
literally
Let's go,
actively
Harold.
working
Oh,
with
that's
Mike
great.
Pondsmith.
I mean, it's
and
really.
I'm pretty sure they
understand
did the same thing for The
How can you
Witcher. So I
say
bet the
Fallout is a bad
continuity
concept?
is
Okay, I guess
almost
that's good.
seamless.
That's good.
I don't know
my-
100%.
micro conversation.
but-
I will say Henry Cavill does not look bad as Geralt.
No, it looks okay.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks great.
I thought
I
he
will-
looked really cool.
I will retract my statement about Fallout. This is not for fear of fighting Harold. I'll still fight you, bare knuckle boxing, bro.
Oh, that is worth fighting though. Like,
Okay, I don't think it's a terrible concept.
What's the
it
first,
is. It is
Jason?
a little
Let him
boring.
talk.
It is a little bit boring. Fallout for whatever reason. Maybe it's just not
The
my thing.
games themselves are
Oh,
boring.
I'm
Yeah.
excited
No,
now.
that's still not the concept.
That's fair. That's, I
See,
think
now
the
that's fandom right
post-apocalyptic
there.
thing is a little.
What is?
Jason goes, "Yay! Less reality, more games, movies, and fantasy. You will all get nude pics as a reward for the the change tonight."
Bro, you just gotta be. You gotta know when you come here, you're getting variety. You're gonna get some game
When did
talk.
we-
We're also gonna. I really do want to talk about the Epstein thing. Like, we gotta wait another week
well,
to
we're
do
not
it
gonna talk
now.
about
But
that. That's good because there'll be more information about it.
You
I
know,
don't.
I wanted,
Unclear.
I wanted- I
necessarily.
wanted to bring
Unclear.
up. I wanted to bring up one more Space Marine related thing.
Oh,
Well,
like,
we'll
how
have
is the guy at
knowledge
Suicide
about
Watch
if
able
there
to
will
kill
be more
himself?
He
information
wasn't
about
on
it.
Suicide
Unclear.
Watch anymore.
Maybe.
I know they took him off. I wanted to do. Never mind.
So
Let's
so
hear it.
I
Unclear.
don't suppose either of you missed null deploying, did you? Like,
But you
did,
can do
did,
that?
did, did you miss
well,
that from 7th edition?
It depends on. It
Why is it
depends
coming
at-
back?
Well, if you ignore the tactical reserve rule, so it depends as to which level you do ignore that rule.
Oh,
I'm
they're gonna have to
checking out.
FAQ
I got
that.
nothing.
Well,
it's past 10. I got nothing to
it's-
contribute.
It's gonna happen. They're gonna. They're gonna
Adios.
FAQ it.
However, would null deploy be the right move to make?
No,
Probably not.
absolutely not.
Because
I
you're
probably
missing,
not,
You're missing
no.
out on literally your whole. You're basically bringing drop pods and then normal Marines. Like, I'm not quite sure that's a competitive edge in any way.
I didn't necessarily have a problem with null deploy, other than I don't think you should be able to go full null deploy.
I agree.
I think you should have to have something on the table because
I like
honestly-
it thematically. I think it's really awesome
right, but
thematically. I
then
think
you're
it's
like,
one of the
you're like,
coolest
okay,
things.
I'm null deploying.
on the
I'll
pro-
take first turn.
I
Okay, my turn's
think
over.
for match play, because right now it just says the drop pod
For
ignores
match
the
play,
rules for
ignores
match
it.
play. I think the drop pod model itself should ignore, like, the points cost you pay for that should ignore the 50%,
Oh, well,
and
maybe.
the models you put inside of it should be adherent to
well,
it.
here's the problem with that.
Sounds kinda
Then
confusing.
the
I mean-
models
I mean-
inside don't count
I mean
for ignoring.
strictly Let me, you know.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
fine,
strictly for the points cost you're paying for 50% of your army.
I guess that would
you
be
can
fine.
still bring them in on turn one because
But that's still going to require
drop pods
an
are
errata.
trash if they can't come
Now,
in on turn
I
one.
don't have an issue as of right now for null deploy for 8th edition. I really don't, considering
I-
considering a lot of
no hair pulling.
Dude, I think it's a huge problem when you can just be like, all right, bro,
Tim has no hair
I'm
to
playing
pull.
7 turns this game,
A
you're
beard,
playing
maybe.
6.
I don't considering of what the only things you can put in your drop pod. Most of the best stuff you can take doesn't go in a drop pod.
Dude, Stern Guard are
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
It's just I really
mean,
think
actually,
you can't put Centurions in it.
But what
wanted
do you
to-
put on stern guard beds?
Okay, hang on. We'll
Specialist
talk-
bullet
What-
guns.
yeah, yeah.
That's it.
I wanted
Aren't
to
they
bring
neck-
up.
Aren't they just neck 2?
Closing
we're not
thoughts.
doing Space Marine Tactical.
Neck
What do
3
you-
with the Doctrine.
You guys can keep talking after the camera's
So
off.
what?
Going off the Epstein thing real quick, my favorite meme for it was it's just Twitter, and it was Hillary Clinton saying, "That's really crazy about Jeffrey Epstein, and I can't believe he did that." Like, oh wait, that's tomorrow. My bad.
Of all the conspiracy, like, did you see the Elon Musk one I showed you earlier,
Yeah.
where he's smoking a joint on Joe Rogan's show?
It says internet.
Conspiracy theories are bullshit.
And then it says Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. Then it was
The
like
whole
Elon.
internet's like, wait a minute.
Really?
I've never seen people more unified on the fact that this dude probably didn't.
The white arm, black arm holding
The
hands.
Schwarzenegger and
And it says Republicans, Democrats agreeing that Epstein didn't commit suicide.
Hold on, we need to back this up. You don't know what movie that's from?
isn't it?
Everybody at this fucking table.
I
should
think I
know
do
what
know.
movie
Hold
that's
on,
from.
what, I didn't even hear the reference.
Is it
Schwarzenegger.
is
It's
it
Predator,
two?
isn't it?
It is Predator.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Because he's
Thank
like,
you.
Dylan, you son of a bitch, and then they like power clap.
What's wrong?
Dylan, they got you pushing too many papers.
Okay, last meme. Did
Oh,
you get any memes for today?
Dang, I have
No,
I
He
Yeah.
literally read that comment when he sat down.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. The one I saw was like, man, I was super surprised about Epstein's suicide. Probably not as surprised as he was, but yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the
That's
show.
really funny.
We love you guys. Over the Top. That's us. We're changing the name of the show to Over the Top.
All right, bye.